Hey everyone, it's Paige. Welcome back to my channel. So, it's been a few weeks since I saw you guys, and I definitely apologize for that. It has been incredibly stressful and crazy with work right now, and so I just needed to take a second away from YouTube and focus on those things, but I'm hoping to get back into a semi-regular uploading schedule again. During the time I was away, I did not get a lot of reading done at all. So I thought maybe to help myself set goals and maybe to inspire you to set some goals, I created a TBR list for myself. And if I get to all of them in the springtime, great. If I don't, oh well. None of these books are like spring related. However, in making this list, I was curious about what kind of books are spring related? Like, do you have any books on your TBR or books that you've read in the past that have been set during spring or somehow focused on spring? If you have, I would be curious to know what they are, if you don't mind popping them in the comments below. But yeah, just a heads up, these books are not spring inspired. In fact, a lot of them are thrillers, so okay, so starting off the list is a book that I added to my TBR in February because of two amazing coworkers, Vicky and Jess. They both said this was an amazing book. That book is When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. This is an adult mystery thriller novel that takes place in Brooklyn, New York. So Alyssa is recently, not Alyssa, the author's name is Alyssa. That's not the protagonist's name at all. So our protagonist, Sydney, is recently divorced and she moves back home to her hometown, Brooklyn, to live in her childhood home. And when she returns home, she finds her neighborhood much changed. There are for sale signs everywhere. A lot of the people that she grew up with they've moved, they've disappeared, and there are plans for condos to pop up. Sydney begins to feel over time that maybe something sinister is happening with the new people that are moving into the neighborhood and the way old people are being pushed out. But something that really drew me to this thriller novel was the fact that it is compared to Get Out, which is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. So I'm hoping that sometime over the span of this spring, I'll be able to finish this and give you my full thoughts on it. Also, yes, as you can see, I bought this at Target on a whim. It was 20% off. Okay, the second book that is on my spring TBR is a book that I started last year. So this novel was very generously sent to me by a subscriber named Michael. He sent me Old Bones and The Scorpion's Tail, I believe. This is by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child, and this is another mystery thriller. This is actually the first in their mystery series called Nora Kelly for the protagonist. Nora Kelly is a very successful curator and archaeologist, and she is approached by an historian named Clive Benton who wants to go on this expedition to uncover the lost Donner Party. Personally, going into this book, I feel like I knew just about as much, maybe a little bit less than most people about the Donner Party. However, I am interested in the idea of westward expansion and the pioneers and the struggle of going to uncharted territory. I am very interested in all of those things, so I was excited to jump into this. Some things got into my way. I tried to read this while listening to the audiobook and I got messed up and couldn't find my place and I got frustrated and it was a whole thing. So I'm hoping that during these next few months I'll be able to finish this and maybe even move on to The Scorpion's Tail, because I only have this much left. I know I'm using the dust jacket as a bookmark, don't come after me, but I only have that much left. I'm over halfway through the book, so it would be great to actually finish the book and continue with the series. I'm excited to see where it goes. Next up on my list is another book by Silvia Moreno-Garcia, who has strangely become one of my favorite, or at least my most anticipated upcoming sort of author. This book came out last year. It's called Certain Dark Things. I must not have been keeping a very close eye on release radars because I had no idea that she published this, but this is an urban vampire fantasy novel. And I could literally leave it at that, and I feel like a lot of you would know why I'm interested already. I had no idea that she was interested in ever writing about vampires at all, and knowing that I love her writing and her other books, I'm so excited to see what sort of take she has on vampires. So this novel is set in Mexico City, and it follows a garbage collecting street kid named Domingo. He is approached by Atoll, who is on the run and leaving bodies in her wake, and over the course of their journey together, they kind of grow closer. And hopefully sometime soon you'll see on my Goodreads that I'm currently reading this book. So on the subject of authors that I just adore no matter what they write, it seems, I would also like to finally read, The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. This novel, like his others, is a horror thriller novel. It follows a woman named Lynette, who is a real life final girl. She survived a massacre, so she, along with 5 other women who survived tragedies, end up in this group to support one another. And everything is wonderful and great until one of them goes missing, and Lynette's worst fear is realized because she realizes that someone knows about their support group and is itching to dismantle it and all of their lives again. I'm always interested to see how the archetype of the final girl has evolved throughout horror movies over time. I feel like the current final girl is usually a fighter, quite intelligent, and sometimes even manipulative. If you have not already seen it, Troy and I recently watched Fresh. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's on Hulu and I highly recommend it, but I feel like that movie is very reflective of how the final girl is presented in modern movies, and modern, I guess, meaning in the past decade. So I'm very curious to see what Grady Hendrix does with this idea of the final girl and how several final girls end up in this very terrifying situation. Okay, so last but not least on this list is finally a fantasy novel. I believe this is considered urban fantasy, and this is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. This follows 16-year-old Bree Matthews, whose mother has recently passed away, and in the aftermath of her mother's death, she ends up going to a residential program called Chapel Hill. Her first night there, she witnesses a magical attack. After this attack, other students at this academy try to wipe her memory and fail to do so, which unlocks Bree's own magical talent and memories that had been repressed. I have heard that this is one of the best fantasy novels that has come out in recent years, so I have been very excited to read it. I just have not been able to commit to really any fantasy novels recently, so it's been hard to push myself towards anything other than romance or thriller. However, that was my last book on this TBR. I'm sure that there are going to be tons of other books that I want to read because of TikTok recommendations. However, these books, like I said, have been on my TBR for a decent amount of time, and they are by authors that I trust will entertain me, so they feel like safe choices, and I'm hoping that one or some or all of them will help me get out of my reading slump. If you have a TBR, please leave it in the comments below. Let me see what you're excited to read. If you're also in a reading slump and you would like to share and commiserate with me, please do that as well. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. As always, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads, and you can join my Discord channel called Paiging Through Club, where we read a book every month. Hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you back here very, very soon. Bye!